Welcome to Does It Matter by Brainy Ballers, where we dissect the game with cutting-edge analytics to give you the upper hand. We analyze everything from hand sizes to average depth of targets to uncover hidden trends that no one else sees. Say goodbye to guesswork and hello to data-driven domination. Because here at Brainy Ballers, we don't just watch the game, we understand it. So get ready, it's podcast time.
Everyone knows the tight end position is just an absolute nightmare to predict in fantasy. You're either chasing points, praying for a touchdown, or you just, draft a big name and hope for the best. It feels impossible to get right.
It's so volatile. And that's why I was really drawn to this. It's the 98th piece in the Does It Matter series from Brainy Ballers.
Right.
And they use a ton of data from Player Profiler to see if we can actually predict success using a metric called the College Dominator rating.
Okay, before we dive into the results, we should probably clarify what that actually is.
Yeah, good idea.
When we say Dominator rating, we're not talking about like raw yards or anything. It's the percentage of a college team's total receiving yards and touchdowns that one guy was responsible for.
Exactly. It's a market share stat. It basically asks how much of the entire offense ran through this one player.
So the whole mission here was to see if that college market share, actually means anything for the NFL.
Or if it's just noise. Yeah.
So to figure this out, they did something really smart. They didn't just dump every tight end drafted since 2003 into a spreadsheet. They specifically looked at the top 50 PPR fantasy finishers each year. And the key was the contrast. They pitted the elite, the top 10 guys, against the bottom 10.
And that contrast is everything. You're comparing the true league winners against, the replacement level guys.
The guys who are technically starters but are not winning you any weeks.
Exactly. So if this metric matters at all, the signal should be really obvious when you compare those two groups.
It seems like it is. The gap is there.
Yeah.
In over 82% of the seasons they looked at, the top 5 fantasy finishers had a higher average Dominator rating than the guys in that bottom tier.
So broadly speaking, yeah, the best fantasy tight ends were the guys who just demanded the ball in college.
But averages can sometimes smooth things over, right?
They can. And that's why the study went a step further. They wanted to find the optimal range. So a rating of 14.0 seemed to be the minimum, the entry point.
But the real benchmark was higher.
A lot higher.
Do you want to start dominating your drafts? At BrainyBallers.com, we've researched every metric under the sun for you to find which ones are best linked to fantasy points. You can access hundreds of metrics to sharpen your scouting abilities so you know which metrics matter and which are just noise. Stop guessing on which thresholds to look for within each metric. Big numbers can be misleading or irrelevant. Our Ultimate Athlete Blueprints reveal essential scouting metrics, their importance, and benchmarks within each metric that help predict a player's probability of being a success or bust. Elevate your scouting ability with Brainy Ballers' Ultimate Athlete Blueprints today. Click the link in the description. Now back to the show.
The numbers really point to 16.0.
16. Okay, so what does that number mean in practice?
It means that if a prospect hit a 16.0 Dominator rating or higher in college, they showed up in that elite top 10 group almost 23% more often than they showed up in the bottom group.
Wow, okay. That's a pretty significant edge.
It's a huge edge. It gives you a clear filter when you're scouting.
That sounds like a really strong signal, but
Yeah.
Did they validate it statistically? We need to know this isn't just a fluke of the sample or something.
They did. They ran the numbers using the Pearson correlation coefficient. And in sports analytics, anything over a 0.1 usually tells you there's a real relationship there. It's not just random.
And this one.
This came back at 0.121.
So to put that 0.121 in perspective for everyone listening, think about quarterback draft capital. We all know how much that matters.
Oh, it's a massive indicator of opportunity and success.
Right. And the statistical strength of that correlation is around a 0.219. So finding a 0.121 here, it puts this niche tight end stat in the same league of relevance.
It confirms the signal is legit. And the really interesting part to me was the decadal differences chart. You might think that college stats would get less predictive over time as the NFL game evolves.
Yeah, you'd think defenses would adapt or something.
But it's the opposite. The correlation has actually gotten more significant in the most recent decade.
That is really counterintuitive.
Yeah.
So the takeaway here seems pretty direct then. When you're scouting rookies, don't just look at the 40 time or the height and weight. You have to check that Dominator rating.
The odds are tilting in your favor. It's a proven blueprint for finding that elite upside.
I'm just left wondering about that strengthening trend, though. If the link between college dominance and NFL success is actually going up, does that mean NFL teams are just getting smarter about how they use these guys?
Or maybe modern college schemes are just translating better to the pros than they used to.
It's definitely something to think about while you're trying to find your next tight end. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.